You're about to tap into the fan's perspective, where all things entertainment are talked about by the fans who love them the most. Now let's dive in with your host, Chris Laporto.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fan's Perspective, courtesy of StarsandCelebs.com. You can get all of your entertainment news, play some quizzes, check out some celebrity interviews, and don't forget about Chud.com for all you horror enthusiasts. And yes, the Fan's Perspective is coming back to you one more time on SoundCloud.com. And my name's Chris Laporto, and thank you so much for joining us once again. And this episode, it's going to be exciting because it's all about San Diego ComicCon, which took place over this past weekend. A lot of exciting news coming out of Comic-Con, a lot of really cool trailers being revealed, a lot of information by Marvel, all about Phase 4. We're going to talk all about it. But first, I'm going to introduce my guest, recurring guest, and girlfriend, Tara.
Hi, everyone.
Tara, you had the privilege of being at Comic-Con over the weekend. Tell us what that was like.
It was my second year going for work, but I think it was just as exciting as ever. Thousands of people in cosplay and lots of activations from regular brands as well as TV networks. So like lots of opportunity to meet new people, like-minded individuals, get really good food, and like every restaurant had custom menus. So it was like, it's definitely an event, right? It's not just like a moment in time. It's an actual like pop culture kind of like, I can't even really describe it, but it's definitely something that I'm really happy that I was able to be a part of. I'm very tired, but it was worth it, and so happy to talk a little bit about it today.
Yeah, I've never been to San Diego one. I've only been to the New York one once, which is about probably 9 years ago. I will be there this year in October. So if you even know who I am and you want to come find me, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, I'll be there in October. But you work for IMDb,
Right.
which we know is owned by Amazon.
Right.
Amazon has Amazon Prime. Obviously, they had their own original series, and a lot of it was on display at Comic-Con. What can you tell us about what you were a part of as far as like your work, and what cool things did you see?
So every year, this is the fourth year, we have this huge yacht parked outside of the convention center, right on the border and on the boardwalk, and essentially it's our hub it basically turns into an interview studio and a party center. So we're there for basically 4 days throughout that first weekend, and it's just like a literal all day like nonstop celebrity and fan engagement. So we have there's some parts of the day where fans can come aboard, and we have like sponsor activations and like a lot of cool things going on, snacks, goodies, giveaways, bar, like a fully loaded bar. We did a big party with Wendy, so it's called Bacon Fest. And so it was a literal party.
That sounds awesome.
Which it was awesome. It was literally like, obviously the new Baconator sandwich. We had bacon cocktails and brownies and popcorn drizzled with bacon fat. I mean, it was just like a clogged artery party, but it was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, and then we work with Kevin Smith, and he basically is our host for the weekend, and so we have a couple of casts come on board. We had like The Walking Dead, Riverdale, the Terminator cast. A ton of them came through, and we just talked to them and do some live shows. It's really really robust, but a lot of fun, and spending the weekend on the boat isn't so bad.
Now you were there. You said the boat is 4 days. So for you, that started Wednesday. So it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So I went on Wednesday to like prep and like do walkthrough and stuff. But the actual boat activation is Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So Sunday is nothing.
Nope.
Does it end Sunday?
I believe ComicCon ends. Yes.
I mean, I know it's the last day,
think,
but you came home that day, so I just...
Yeah, I think ComicCon ends on Sunday.
And as you were there, you were sending me some pictures, and you got to hang out with, as you said, some stars. Two people you met in particular, Xavier Woods.
Yes.
For all you wrestling fans, I'm a huge wrestling fan. Seems like he's a really cool guy from what you told me, which is awesome.
Yep.
You know, regardless of what people want to say about celebrities, especially in today's climate, it's really nice to see or to hear when they're actually nice people. You know, and you know, there's a saying, "Never meet your heroes," which is true in a lot of ways. But it's cool that, you know, there are those celebrities out there that are just down to earth and will just talk to you like you're a regular person because they're regular people.
There's literally nothing more disappointing than meeting a celebrity and they're not what you expect them to be. I've like working in the entertainment industry for the last 7 years. I've had my fair share of, you know, up close conversations and meet and greets and, you know, working and partnering with celebrities and musicians. And I can say it definitely, like sometimes I wish I just didn't have that face to face because it's so disappointing when you look up to someone and you think they're one way and they're not. Most of them generally are actually, you know, they're regular people just like everyone else and they are cool, but you will have a few bad apples that I won't mention. Right,
and another one you got to meet, and you sent me a picture of basically his arm around you.
I mean, basically,
it was, I guess.
We were literally snuggled. It was one of the highlights of not only my week, but my month, my year, and life.
Yeah. Jared Padalecki, for all of you Supernatural fans,
and Gilmore Girls.
And Gilmore Girls, yes, Gilmore Girls. But more importantly, Supernatural.
Yes.
And I'm a huge fan of Supernatural. I'm really upset that it's coming to an end this year in its 15th and final season. But again, as you were saying, a really cool guy, which is really great to hear.
So nice. He was very genuine. You could tell he has no ego. More than like it wasn't like even some people like when they like meet people they like will just kind of oblige and like take a photo with you and like keep it moving. Like he was like very much interested in like knowing your name, engaging. Like he still introduces himself even though you know exactly who he is. So like very humble, great guy, really tall, a lot taller than I expected. But yeah, he's definitely on my like top 10 list of celebrity interactions. He was very genuine.
Yeah, and Supernatural, of course, had its final ComicCon panel, and that's, you know, as I mentioned,
lots of tears were shed.
Yeah, it's the 15th and final season. Also, Arrow had its final ComicCon panel because that's coming up on its final season. Season 8 will be the last. Not much of a presence for DC. I don't want to feel like we're going off in totally different directions, but there is a lot to talk about with Comic-Con, and you know, not a big presence by DC except for Arrow and the Flash.
There was something with there was some presence with the new Ruby Rose. Was she Batgirl?
Batwoman. But unfortunately, she wasn't there.
Right, she wasn't there.
Apparently, she couldn't make it.
She wasn't there, but they definitely made up for it in, you know, the small way that they could, which was like having her face plastered. She was very much present in costume all over a lot of the train stations, elevators and hotels. Like they definitely tried to make up for her absence, I guess. And there was also the Batman experience in partnership with AT&T. There's going to be a Comic-Con museum, and so they had like basically a museum of all things Batman paraphernalia and props.
It's probably in celebration of multiple anniversaries this year. Batman himself turned 80, and the 1989 movie has its 35th anniversary this year, or 30th.
Lego also had a life-size Batman replica on the convention floor, I guess in honor of this anniversary, and I think it was 6 foot 7 inches tall. Full Lego statue. It was amazing.
So what else did you get to see? I know one of the more anticipated shows that's coming, especially, I mean, it's specifically an Amazon show, but The Boys, and you got to take part in a pretty cool activation for that. So what can you tell us about The Boys?
The Boys is basically not your average anti-hero show. It's essentially, I think it's a comic, right? Is there a comic for it?
Honestly, I don't know.
I believe there is, but it's basically Batman turned on its head, where the heroes are the bad guys. And there was a cool Prime Video experience in the convention area, or like the surrounding area of the convention, where fans could come and take part, almost like a interactive skit, I guess. Maybe it's like a 15-minute skit. You go into this room that is a replica of an electronic shop, and like a car has come through the window, everything's destroyed, and you have these two actors who are like trying to get the crowd, which is they send you in groups of like 10, and you go in and you're trying to basically destroy the surveillance tape and figure out which of the boys, or the supes as they call them, the superheroes, is responsible for it. And it's pretty cool. Great acting. It was a lot of fun. It ends in someone who we thought was a part of our just tour group getting stabbed by one of the actors in the chest, literally right next to me. So yeah, it was fun. A lot of fun. I think it's going to be a great show. If you like superhero movies, definitely check out the trailer. The trailer is actually kind of got a little, not heat, but it's pretty explicit.
It's a red band trailer,
It's
right?
a red band trailer. It's rated. It's a hard R. So if you're easily offended, I wouldn't recommend it. But for those of you who are not, check it out.
So before we get into, the meat and potatoes of everything that took place, and we're going to talk about all of the trailers that came out, especially from Marvel's side. What was your being there personally and seeing everything? What was your favorite part of being there? I know you got to sit in on the Marvel panel. What was just your overall favorite moment? What was the best, your favorite trailer that was released? The best moment you had being there? Just, yeah.
My favorite trailer drop was It Chapter 2, because it's a movie I'm really looking forward to. The guy who plays Mike and is also the Old Spice guy was actually on our boat, so I had actually seen him this weekend as well. I'm a huge James McAvoy fan, and so super excited about that, even though I am terrified of clowns for some reason.
I don't see why people can be.
What do you mean? First of all,
I've never been afraid of clowns.
Someone that's like smiling and got like big feet and a red nose, it's just like scary. If you were to walk into like an alleyway late at night in New York City, 1989, and there was a clown standing at the end of the alley holding a balloon and waving at you, you would be terrified. And don't tell me that you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, whatever. You're a liar, so I guess we're gonna lie on the air,
Anyway.
but that's fine. Favorite moment? I would say overall, I really enjoyed seeing the costumes. I think, for some people, ComicCon is like their big event of the year. Like, they save up, because trust me, ComicCon is not for the frugal or people who may not be able to afford it. Like, it's very expensive.
Especially not the San Diego one, I imagine.
Right. From the, the hotel's prices are marked up like 20-30%. The tickets alone, like it's one of those things where you have to, in order to have a great experience, you have to be willing to spend the money on like VIP and all access, and those things can go up into like the high thousands.
Yikes.
And then like, not to mention, when you get to the floor, if you want to buy souvenirs, all of those cost money too. Like, Funkos, like Funko dolls are $15 versus the $8 or $9 you might spend elsewhere on Amazon, etc. So you have to come with money. So for the people who take it seriously, they like probably spend the entire year like ideating around costume ideas and then like building them. Like, people had super custom costumes. It's not people aren't. I mean, you will have the few, but people are not just coming there with their Party City outfits. Like,
No,
people are
people-
making things.
yeah.
There's like people who have like gadgets and like electronics attached and like creating like fire or smoke, and it's just like very elaborate, and I kind of enjoyed seeing that, I think, and like taking pictures with the people who had really cool costumes. There's also a lot of camaraderie. Like, if you're like, let's say you're the Red Ranger, you dressed up as the Red Ranger and I'm the Pink Ranger, if we see each other, we'll take a picture, we'll like, kind of bask in our similar costumes, and I kind of saw that throughout. And so it's really fun to just see people having fun and letting their geek flag fly, I guess.
All right, so let's talk about the real important stuff, of course. And let's talk about everything that was revealed and released. And let's start with the panel that stole the show, which, I mean, it's no surprise. I think they do it probably every year. And that's the Marvel panel. Mm-hmm. They finally showed us what Phase 4 is going to look like. And they might have even have hinted a little bit at their plans for Phase 5. Because Marvel is just not going to be slowing down. And they have no reason to. I know there's some people out there and those within the movie industry, aka James Cameron, who doesn't want to see the Marvel movies anymore, or the superhero movies,
right.
But they're not slowing down. And after what they revealed, that Marvel train is just going to keep going. So here's what was revealed for Phase 4. It's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, or the Order of the Ten Rings. And we finally get Mandarin, a real Mandarin, not like what we saw in Iron Man 3. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And it's also been reported that Elizabeth Olsen will reprise her role of Scarlet Witch in that movie. The Eternals, starring Angelina Jolie, Richard Madden. That movie will take place millions of years before everything that we saw with the Infinity Saga. And also, I heard there was even a trailer released for it specifically at ComicCon, but Black Widow, starring Scarlett Johansson and David Harbour. And we thought Black Widow would be a prequel to everything, but apparently it's going to take place between Civil War and Infinity War.
Black Widow?
Yeah, which is interesting, and Thor, the new Thor movie, Love and Thunder, which was revealed even before it was revealed at Comic-Con, I think, right? Or no? Am I wrong about that?
I hadn't heard about it before Comic-Con.
At least it was revealed that Taika Waititi, is that his name?
Yeah, something like that.
Excuse me, forgive me for not knowing it, but it was revealed that he was coming back as a director for Thor 4, and then at Comic-Con, we got more information about what Thor was going to be. It's Love and Thunder. Natalie Portman will be back, and she will be female Thor, and just to be clear, Chris Hemsworth is in it as well. So there'll be two Thors in the movie, and we will get to see the live-action debut of Jane Foster as Thor, which we saw in the comics. So a lot going on with Phase 4, and that doesn't even include everything else they mentioned. Captain Marvel 2, Black Panther 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Spider-Man Far From Home just came out, so no news on Spider-Man 3 yet. You were actually in there. Tell us about the reactions for everything that was being released, and what were you most excited about as you were in that panel?
So I personally was not in there.
I thought you said you were.
No.
Okay.
I was not there. But I know people who were, and they said it was like literal pandemonium, I guess would be the best word to describe it. I think a big reaction for Angelina Jolie.
Kind of surprised by that, honestly.
Yeah. As well as Natalie Portman. Not necessarily all great, but I think generally, like, people were super excited. I think people are a little more confident in it because Taiki is involved again, and Ragnarok kind of reinvigorated the Thor franchise, and so there's a little bit more excitement around that, I think. But yeah, I think everyone that I talked to a few editors from different press outlets like the Hollywood Reporter, Playboy, and some other people.
Playboy.
Yeah. And they said it was insane, and like you had to be there. And I'm sure the people that were there were probably sitting outside waiting online since probably Thursday for that.
Just for that specific panel.
Yeah, I mean that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but people really do like pitch tents at night. Like at night when I'd be leaving a party at like 1 or 2 a.m., there would actually be like people outside on the street in tents and sleeping bags, and sometimes just laying on a backpack waiting for Hall H, which is the big room where all the big announcements happen, just waiting to get in.
So there's no tickets to get in?
You have to get a ticket, but it's like first come, first serve kind of thing. Like you have to buy a pass for that, and then it's first come, first serve. So people basically sit out all night to ensure they get a good spot.
They also revealed Mahershala Ali will be playing Blade, which was kind of a big deal. I think people are really excited about that, even though there are those who wanted to see Wesley Snipes return for the role. But I think it's awesome that we're getting Blade in the MCU. They also talked about all the Disney Plus series, which is a big deal for a lot of reasons. What's going to come to Disney Plus is Loki, Hawkeye, Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and What If. Or What If is it's going to be an animated series. And that's pretty interesting that they would do a What If series, because, for those who don't know what it is, it's basically an alternate reality. Like, what if, let me see if I can put it better. When I had a comic that was what if Spider-Man killed the Lizard. And if you know comics, that's a pretty big deal. But it's just telling like these stories of, hey, what if this happened? Or what if that happened? What would reality be within the Marvel Universe? So pretty interesting that they're doing that. But WandaVision, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Loki, Hawkeye will all have direct ties, obviously, to the MCU. But they'll all be series. What do you think this looks like for the streaming, for streaming in general? Because I know a lot of fans are predicting that this will put Netflix down, or at least give Netflix some problems. I don't see it. I don't think people will cancel, even though a lot of people apparently have started to cancel Netflix. Netflix kind of had a bad quarter.
I don't think people unsubscribed. I think they just didn't have the projected subscribers. Like they had like I think 2 or 3 million new user projection, and they didn't hit it. I don't think they lost users.
No, I heard that they lost subscribers.
I think it didn't.
And
hit
that their stock went down.
I think it didn't hit, but we can confirm that.
Yeah, and that's
come back to it.
That's because of probably because of the price increase, and also because of the amount of shows that they've been canceling that people have been pretty upset about.
I don't see any reason why Netflix would be in trouble because of a Disney Plus opportunity, like a new kind of app. I just don't think that they're apples. I think Netflix will lose. They'll lose some content for sure. But I just don't see the reason why. If I'm a current Netflix user, and I want to see the stuff on Disney Plus, like it's not an even exchange. It's not like it's not like saying, I'm gonna pick between Hulu and Prime Video because those are kind of the same, or like I'm gonna pick between Prime and Netflix. Maybe you don't need both of those. I don't think Disney Plus is the same as Netflix. Like they don't offer the same things. Like there's a ton of content on there that Disney won't have, and so I don't think it's gonna be like, oh well, this is better, I'm canceling Netflix.
No, I agree. I mean, Disney Plus is gonna be very specific. Netflix obviously has a wider variety of shows. I think people are really only gonna watch Disney Plus for all the Marvel shows and for the Star Wars show that'll be on there. I kind of feel like people have, or at least had, the expectation that as soon as Disney Plus comes out and is available for you to subscribe to, that all these shows are going to be right away available to watch, and that's not the case. It's going to be spread out probably a couple of years, and I think most of them come out 2021. So we have a couple of years before any of these shows will be seen at all. They're right now they're in production. As far as I know, none of them are filming. There's no it's a series, and when it comes to a series, there's multiple directors and writers, production crews, and I don't know if any of that has actually started. So,
and just to go back a little bit to confirm, both of us were kind of right. They were expecting 2 million additional subscribers, and they ended up losing 130,000. So it was a net loss. So both right, kind of. I just feel like but to move on, I feel like Disney Plus. I think Disney Plus has the power to bring people who have not adopted the streaming lifestyle, which is not many, but I think people will want. I think Disney Plus would be huge with millennials. They're gonna have content from. As a millennial, things that I used to watch when I was a kid, so like the Lizzie McGuires and the Even Stevens and all that stuff.
Pretty much everything Disney.
And I think it's going to be a great way for millennial parents to kind of pass along shows to their kids, because I feel like, at this point, nostalgia is everything, and I feel like it's going to open up a lot of new doors for like 30-year-olds who are excited about it to down to kids who are kind of discovering older shows. I don't think Netflix will lose the game, or they may lose a percentage of their, I guess, share of that, their share of that streaming pie, but it won't be anything where like Netflix is definitely not going out of business or gonna be like, become a struggling company by any means. I just think.
And I think Netflix will be fine, and we'll get into why I think that a little bit later on.
Maybe some of the other ones. Like, I feel like another platform would be in trouble before Netflix.
Well, I think...
But again, I feel like Disney's so specific, it shouldn't affect anything if I'm rationalizing this properly.
But also some big news during the Marvel panel, and I got to watch a video of somebody probably illegally, and when I say illegally, I mean they probably weren't supposed to be filming anything that was going on in the Marvel panel.
No.
But they did anyway, and of course they released it on YouTube. And I saw what Kevin Feige was saying. I wanted to watch the reaction for Blade when it was announced, and I got to see Kevin Feige talk about things that they didn't mention, and he said, we didn't mention that Black Panther 2 is coming, which was inevitable. We knew that. Guardians 3, which we know about. Captain Marvel 2, which we knew was happening. No mention of Ant-Man, which I find interesting. I wonder if Paul Rudd is done, or if Ant-Man, if they're done telling that story. But no mention of Ant-Man. But what he did say was that they didn't get to talk about the Fantastic Four, which of course got a huge reaction, and that they didn't get to talk about mutants, obviously alluding to X-Men, and the fact that Fantastic Four and X-Men will at some point be a part of the MCU. I mean, that's why Disney bought Fox, was so they can have these properties, so they can integrate it into everything. I mean, if you're a geek, if you're a nerd, and it's not a derogatory term by any means, because I'm one, this is probably some of the most exciting things that I think have ever come out of ComicCon. And it's a great time to be into comics and to be into superheroes and to be into movies and TV shows, because we're still, even after 10 years of the MCU, we are still going to get all this great stuff that's going to be coming out. And I just cannot wait. But out of all of these, I think I'd have to say that I'm probably more excited for Blade and Shang-Chi. Blade because I like Blade, he's a badass character. Blade was the first real successful Marvel movie back when it came out in 98 with Wesley Snipes. And Shang-Chi, I mean, as a fan of martial arts, this is the first movie attempt that Marvel Studios is going to do. I mean, we know that Iron Fist came out on Netflix and it wasn't really that successful. But now it's going to be really fun to see what they do with Shang-Chi. What was your, hearing everything that came out of the Marvel panel, what are you most excited about?
So if I'm gonna be completely honest, not really too excited about Phase 4.
I have seen some people say that. I want to know why though.
I just don't. I think first of all, I think it's hard to follow up. Like when you start with the core heroes, like the Iron Mans and the Thors and the Captain Americas, all of the ones we know together, everything's gonna seem lesser than. Like that. Those 10 years of films were so phenomenal and groundbreaking that I feel like anything after, no matter what they do, is gonna be subpar. I personally am not too excited. I have no idea who Shang-Chi is. Blade I've actually never seen. I know of the Wesley Snipes movie. There's like 3 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I know of those, but not particularly a fan. Doctor Strange, if I'm being honest, I wasn't a fan of until Infinity War. That's when he kind of grew on me.
But did you see that movie?
I've never seen any of those movies.
There's only one.
That movie. Thor. I mean, if.
Don't tell me that you're not excited about Chris Hemsworth.
No. Well, it's twofold, right? One, I've never seen the first 2 Thors.
Mm-hmm.
I started with Ragnarok. That was like the first Thor only movie that I had seen, and it was fantastic. And based on what everyone has said, I don't think I should watch 1 and 2 because it sounds like I'll be bored as hell. And then also we all know that Chris Hemsworth as the beautiful Thor is no more, and so this new movie will likely be ridiculous Thor that I'm not too fond of. So, yes and no, I'm excited for the new Thor. Eternals, I have no idea what that is. And Black Widow, I'm excited. I guess I'm excited for Scarlett Johansson to get her own thing because she was the only girl. She held it down. She ended up being a hero in Endgame, so I think she deserves it. Am I going to run to the theater to see Black Widow? Probably not, but I will support it. And I appreciate that they're giving her a movie.
Well, you are because I'm going, which means you're going.
No. And then, so I think Phase 5, the suggested Phase 5 is what I'm more excited about. The Fantastic Four, X-Men, Captain Marvel, Black Panther, Guardians, all of that stuff. 4, I might pass and just like maybe take a nap, recharge my Marvel batteries, and wait it out. Hopefully it doesn't take too long because I definitely don't have 10 years to spare. But I think they should get it.
They're young enough.
I think they should get it moving with the Phase 5. Chris, I'm not trying to be watching these movies till I'm 80 years old.
I say Phase 5 because, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out, and who knows? I mean, we know that Guardians 3 is being made. We knew that for a long time. It probably got pushed back because of everything that happened with James Gunn. They fired him, and he signed on to direct in the Suicide Squad movie. Then they rehired him and brought him back. So that probably delayed a lot of what's going on with Guardians 3. But some of these movies, Black Panther 2, Guardians 3, even Captain Marvel 2, there's no reason to think that they won't come out within the next few years. 2 or 3 years at the most. That's not really Phase 5. That's more going into Phase 4. So this can all be mixed in as one phase. This can all be Phase 4. I say Phase 5 because when it comes to Fantastic Four and X-Men, that's probably going to have to wait longer than what we've seen announced. That probably won't be till 5. But everything else is going to be coming out within the next few years. Shang-Chi is definitely an interesting choice. I think... And I hate going this direction because, and I've said it before, this is not a political show. I don't really care about politics. And I don't care about... I treat people as people. I don't care where they come from. But with today's culture, it makes perfect sense why they would do a Shang-Chi movie because they want to be inclusive and they want to have that Asian American hero. There's nothing wrong with that. Shang-Chi happens to be a really cool character. And who doesn't like a good martial arts action movie? And that's what this is going to be.
Great, I'm all for inclusivity. I just never heard of the character, so maybe they'll be dope, and that's fine with me.
And I think they need to. I think that Shang-Chi is going to be built on first impressions a lot more than anticipation. I think people are going to wait to see what other people are saying about it, and then go see it. You know what I mean? So, but I hope it does well, and I hope it's good. Eternals is definitely an interesting choice. It's something that Kevin Feige has been wanting to do for a long time, and now he's going to get to do that.
Yep.
It's going to tell, from what I've read during research, it's going to be connected to Guardians of the Galaxy as well as, I think, Thor. So that should be exciting. A Black Widow, I mean, like you said, Scarlett Johansson deserves to have a solo Black Widow movie at this point. Are you excited about the shows at all? Any of the shows that you want to watch? I know you like Loki.
Always. Tom Hiddleston. Fantastic. Loki, yes. Scarlet Witch could be interesting. I love... I mean, I feel like she's had moments in the ensemble movies, but I feel like I've been impressed by her powers and strengths, so I would be interested in learning more about her. Is this you know if it's a prequel? Is her brother going to be alive, or is it just
no?
Just her?
It's WandaVision, so Vision is in it, which we're gonna have to see what happens because we know that Vision's dead. He was killed in Infinity War. He didn't come back in Endgame. So
because he didn't die with the snap.
Right. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that. I think Loki is going to be really fun because if you remember Endgame, when they go back in time to get the Tesseract, he actually steals it and disappears.
Right.
And Loki, the show, is going to probably pick up where that leaves off and talk about that. So I'm interested to see that because that was... from the critics of the show, of the movie, I mean, Endgame, that was a plot point for them. They were like, how did this happen? It's a major plot hole. It's going to come. We're going to know what happens once the Loki series comes out. So just real quick, before we move on here, Fantastic Four and X-Men, ever since news first break, going back maybe a year or two ago when plans were Disney to buy Fox, everybody's been wondering about Fantastic Four and X-Men. We're all hoping that Hugh Jackman comes back as Wolverine.
I doubt
Do you
it.
have anyone that you would want to see play these roles?
Of the Fantastic Four and X-Men?
Yeah.
Or just Fantastic Four?
Well, just to kind of kick it off, I'll give you what I've been seeing, and that's John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic and Emily Blunt as Invisible Woman.
I heard this. I think it could work. How old are the characters generally? Obviously, it's a cartoon, and we know cartoons don't age. But like generally, how are they supposed to be? Is Johnny supposed to be like a teenager, 20-something-year-old, the rest of them are 30, 40?
Johnny Storm is young.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's that young, but he's young. Younger.
By far.
But they're all the actors are older in these movies. Like Mahershala Ali is Blade.
I feel like Mahershala Ali is older than Wesley Snipes was when he played it. Like his current age is older than Wesley Snipes was.
I think he might have been. Personally, I like Mahershala Ali, but I was hoping that they would pick Trevante Rhodes for the role. He was in Moonlight and he was in Bird Box. I really would have liked to have seen him in it, but I think Mahershala is going to do fine because he's a really good actor. So it's going to be... And he was actually already in the MCU. For those who watched Luke Cage, he played Cottonmouth. But it's hard to play fantasy casting with these roles because I feel like they're hard roles to cast. Like, who would play Wolverine other than Hugh Jackman? Who does anybody want to see as Wolverine other than Hugh Jackman?
I think Liev Schreiber could do it.
I guess. He's a huge guy, Liev Schreiber. He's, like, really, really big.
Yes, he is.
But one last quick point on the whole Marvel stuff. I think another thing that's going to really be at the forefront of whether or not this next phase is successful is the overarching story. It's going to be hard to live up to Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet, and we have all speculated on who might be the next big bad villain.
Mm-hmm.
And now that they have the rights for Doctor Doom, that's one person that everybody, I think, that's probably, if you did a poll, I think Doctor Doom would win out on who people want to see as the villain. Then there's Galactus. That's another popular choice. I'm going to go out on a limb based on certain things that I've read and things that I've watched, and all of it is speculation. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that everything we're about to see in this next phase will not be and not feature one overarching story. I think they're all going to be in the same universe, but they're all going to be their own stories at the same time.
There might be cameos, you think?
There might be there's definitely going to be cameos.
Overlap.
And, because Thor, we assume Thor will be in Guardians 3 based on what happened in Endgame. We know that Scarlet Witch will be in Doctor Strange. So that's going to happen. But I don't think that there's going to be...
Like an Avengers type.
Yeah, like an Avengers type storyline. I could be wrong, but that's just how I see it going.
And why do you see that happening? You think
Probably,
it's too much?
Probably because of what you just said. There's not going to be any living up to it.
Right.
Look at how people treat Batman and the Joker after Heath Ledger's performance, and after Christopher Nolan's movies. Anything else that comes out afterwards is just not good enough.
You mean, are you saying that Jared Leto didn't have the best performance of the Joker of all time?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Chris, are you crazy? Jared Leto was better than Jack Nicholson and better than Heath Ledger.
All right, so send your hate mail to...
I'm kidding, guys. I kid. He's definitely number 3. He might be number 4, fourth behind the damn cartoon Joker, which was Mark Hamill.
He might even be behind Cesar Romero.
Who the hell is that?
He played Joker in the Adam West series.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I just feel like that's gonna be a way that they go and not feature a big bad villain that everybody's gonna team up to fight.
I also think it's I think it's a few things. I think it'd be repetitive. Okay, the first thing would be, like I said before, you can't live up to the previous. That's 1. 2, I think that everybody kind of was okay with this extended timeline of 10 years because it was a gradual. It was like it was the first one, and you get away with more when it's the first one. I personally don't think that people will have the same patience with a second phase for another decade. Like I feel like people will want it quicker. Like I don't think we'll have that same patience that I feel this group of Marvel fans have had or have shown in the past. Like I think it was remarkable, which is I think that's part of the mystique of this whole thing, right? Like people were actually okay and looking forward to following a story for a whole decade. Like that's insane. But I don't think it's gonna happen now. People are more impatient, and people are gonna want to see these things. Like, you got Disney streaming, they're gonna have rollouts, which probably will be a lot quicker. Probably like multiple shows rolling out at the same time versus back to back. I just don't see it happening. 3 schedules. I think they're probably better off just keeping all of the individual stories separate so that they can just film back to back versus waiting for the 3 movies to come out and then making sure like those actors are free so that they can do the other one. And I feel like there was a lot of give and take with schedules, and these movies are grueling and it's a little unfair, I think, which is one of the reasons why Chris Evans was wanted out so much. I mean, he was over it. Like the schedules are insane, and so they'll probably just like shoot them back to back so that everybody can just mind their business and make a quick cameo. But I agree. I definitely don't see this huge conjoined universe team ensemble thingy happening again. It's too much.
Yeah.
And I don't have time for it, and I know most people don't.
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky enough for all this to start 10 years ago when I was 23, 24, and you were 20. And by the time that this next phase is over, I'll be damn near 45.
Right.
Yeah, so I think you're right, and that's why I think that these movies will probably crank out a little bit faster. And they did release an actual schedule for each movie's release date. I don't really know what that is. I don't have it in front of me, but yeah, that's just how I see it going.
I also think some of these sequels are a little too far apart for me. Like Black Panther 2 is already, when did that come out? February last year?
Yep.
When's part 2 coming out?
Probably next year or the year after.
Okay, that's too far. I need everyone to be on like the It schedule, like a year after. Like stop playing games. Like I'm not trying to be like they be having people in whole new age brackets. By the time a sequel comes out, it's ridiculous.
I'll be in my 40s. Like I said,
outrageous.
When the Fantastic Four debuts in the MCU, I'll probably be close to 50 years old.
Wow.
All right, so we're going to take a little break and come back with everything else that was dropped at ComicCon that we're excited about. So I'm going to leave you with our usual quiz break. And this week, it's not really a quiz question. It's just a question for you. What was your favorite trailer from Comic-Con? What was your favorite reveal from Comic-Con? Were you excited about everything in Marvel? Were you excited about something else? Let us know at the Fans Perspective homepage on starsandcelebs.com. Also, you can leave it in the comment section on SoundCloud where you're listening to this episode. Don't forget to find us on YouTube. If you type in Fans Perspective and then hit the subscribe button and the bell to stay notified, and leave your comments there as well. And while you're doing that, we'll be back in a sec. Alright, so Marvel wasn't the only thing that was going on at Comic-Con, which I know every year it feels like that's exactly what's going on. There was more, and you mentioned it before. Your favorite trailer that was dropped was It Chapter 2. Mm-hmm. It looks pretty good, but I'm going to be honest about something here. I do like the It movie that came out last year, It Chapter 1. But as I watch it more, and I've seen it a couple of times, I feel like it could have been a little bit better. So I'm hoping that this movie really lives up to the expectations.
So I have an editor friend who got to see him and some other editors and writers for publications got screeners and were able to see 3 scenes of It Too. One was the scene where they all meet up for like dinner at the Chinese restaurant. Another scene which can be found in the trailer. It's like James McAvoy. It's like in like a room of mirrors, a hall of mirrors. And I can't remember what the third one was, but he said they were all...
Was it the Chinese restaurant?
I said that first.
Oh, you said that right?
He said that they were just phenomenal. He's like they only showed the third clip was, and they only showed half of it is when they first go to the house again, when they go back to the house for the first time. He said they cut it off. They didn't show the whole scene, but the 3 that they did see was fantastic, and that he thinks it's going to be really good. He had high hopes, great acting, and pretty creepy scenes. So I'm excited. I think it'll be a lot better. I think there are things you can't do with child actors. I mean, even though the first one took it there in some regards, but I think they have a talented cast of actors as the adults. You can do more with adults from a story perspective, and I think they'll do us proud.
Now, the really cool thing about It Chapter 2 is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure that they did the casting because of the fans, right? Weren't these actors who the fans kind of petitioned to have play these roles? Like, people wanted Jessica Chastain as Bev. People wanted James McAvoy as Bill. People wanted Bill Hader as Richie. And they actually did it.
I feel like, I mean, I don't know if it was like an actual like fan curation. I just think
was it a coincidence?
I think it was like I think it was suggestions and some of them happened to stick. I think it was like I don't think the studio was like, we're doing it because the fans want this, but I think it raised some eyebrows and they're like, oh, like this kind of makes sense. Like they do look alike. She could be good. Like, and I think the actors kind of jumped on the train because why not? But I don't necessarily think the studios went in like, oh, like the fans picked these people. This is who we have to get. I just think it made sense and all the stars kind of aligned.
And we'll see the kids again, at least from what we saw in the trailer. They're going to be back.
They're still in it.
Which will be cool. Here's why I think Netflix is not going anywhere, and that's because they released the trailer for The Witcher. That's their new fantasy series that comes out later this fall, starring Henry Cavill. And if you're familiar with The Witcher, then obviously you're pretty excited about it. If you're not, It's going to be very... It's not going to be Game of Thrones-esque, but it's going to be that same type of fantasy show.
Right.
Henry Cavill will play a witcher who has, supernatural abilities. He's going to be hunting monsters. It's really just going to be awesome, I think. I can't wait for it. Did you see anything Witcher-related there?
I did not.
So, yeah, they haven't had a release date for it, but all they say is later this fall. But I cannot wait. I think it's really going to be really, really cool. Watchmen was another big one. And this one, it's going to be on HBO. The movie came out a few years ago now. And now we're getting a series. And I don't know if this is a prequel or just or a sequel or just a retelling. I think it's a sequel. If I had to guess, it's a sequel. But it does look like it's going to be really good and really fun to watch.
Watchmen?
What? Yeah, no, you said something about Watchmen that was there. What did you see Watchmen related?
They had, and you're gonna have to help me out because I don't fully understand the story or the characters, but they basically had a street activation where you could go into like this chamber and essentially get blown up, and then like all your little molecules would come back together, but you could like look completely different or be naked, and like and they were purposely putting people in one by one because it was like a very kind of like personalized type of experience. But I know it's based on a character.
Yeah, probably. It's definitely Dr. Manhattan related.
I'll take your word for it. I have no idea. But it was great. It was cool. And they gave out little smiley face cookies.
And they were pretty good. I ate that cookie yesterday.
Thank you for sharing.
Did you watch the trailer for it?
I did.
And what do you think?
Looks cool considering I don't like. It's one of those things where it's like I'm not familiar with the series, so I wasn't like excited, but it looked cool.
Okay, and another one that I was really excited about and that I'm looking forward to is Creepshow. Creepshow will be coming back as a Shudder series. And yeah, I mean, if you haven't watched this trailer, check it out because it looks like it's going to be really good. It looks creepy. The special effects look pretty good. It is an anthology series, and now an age where, anthology series are a thing again. Probably thanks to American Horror Story. But you watched the trailer. What do you think of Creepshow? I know you said it looks low budget.
I just think it looked like something I would see on... What is that? There's like a fan, like a fan-made platform where you can basically where fan films can go. I feel like, I don't know, it looked okay. It looked like there was a lot going on. Definitely has some great actors in it. I from what I can remember, I saw a couple of cameos that I thought were cool. But I think, I don't know, I'll still watch it. It just, I guess the trailer wasn't what I expected it to be, but I'm still gonna watch it, and I think it'll be fine. I don't know how much of a hit it will be, but I think it's cool for the most part.
I think it'll be. I think people will watch it. Who knows what'll be a hit and what won't be, but I think people will watch it. Is there anything else that we didn't mention that you saw that dropped that you're excited about?
No, I think those are all the big ones. I can't say there was anything that I got like particularly excited about other than those.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything that was, and there was a lot more that was released that we didn't get to talk about. Walking Dead Season 10 had, their trailer come out. A bunch of other shows, The Expanse, which I don't watch, I don't know what it is. But there was a lot of content there. But everything that we talked about in this episode, all the Marvel stuff, It, Creepshow, Witcher, Watchmen, I'm pretty much going to be watching it all. I mean, I think we're in a real renaissance of movies and television right now. And we have so many options as far as streaming services, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, HBO, Shudder, then the list goes on. Disney Plus is on its way. There's so much to watch, so much content. I feel like there's not even enough time in a week to watch all of the shows that are out. So I don't know. What do you think about the really what we've been seeing with movies and television? Is it making everybody just couch potatoes?
I think I wouldn't say couch potato. I mean, I guess yes and no. I think it's becoming a very crowded space. There's multiple ways to create content, and now there's multiple platforms. Netflix and Hulu used to be kind of the silent players in the game, where they were just distributing content that existed already on different networks, and then they kind of got a skin in the game in creating original content like Handmaid's Tale and these rom-com movies and all these other big shows like Orange is the New Black and all these other things. So I think it's becoming very crowded, and I think it's forcing people to be smarter about how they spend their money. I think it's definitely changed the social culture in a way. Most people on a Saturday night 5 to 10 years ago, it would be out at a party at the bar hanging out, and now people are legit having hey, come to my house and we'll watch this this new movie that came out this weekend, or I'm gonna stay in this weekend and binge watch this show. So it's I think it's changed.
We're also older now.
I'm not talking about me though. I'm talking about in general. People that I even read an article saying that millennials 24 to I think 30 32 we're not going out as much, and we're they're starting to see a change in behavior with going out to clubs and stuff. People don't think it's cool anymore to go out and spend $20 on shots and blow all your money. People are looking for ways to stay home, and Netflix and all the streaming partners have become a big part of that. But I think the more the merrier, right? I just think it's a little hard for networks to stand out now because there's just so much. But I think that the ones who do win come out big, right? If you catch on, it's almost like an instant phenomenon. So it's bad for the little guys, but great for the ones that can break through, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, I've always been pretty much of a I guess couch potato, but I'm a movie buff. I'm a TV show buff. I love storytelling, and right now, it's great to be, in this era where we have all this great stuff that we can watch, and it's great to be a nerd right now because nerds are cool. Nerds are in, and look at all the stuff that's coming out that people are excited about, and San Diego Comic-Con in general, has I think reached a much larger audience because of the MCU, because of things like Game of Thrones, who were at the they did have a panel at Comic-Con, and apparently they were booed, or at least Nikolaj, how do you say his name?
Who?
Nikolaj Waldo Coster?
Costow, yeah.
Costow?
Oh, from Jamie from Game
Yeah,
of
the
Thrones?
guy who played Jamie was booed because he said that he and Cersei's ending was perfect, and people did not appreciate it.
People did not.
But yeah, I just don't know how you can watch all these things and see and not be excited. So again, let me know what you're excited about. Let me know what you're gonna be watching, what you're looking forward to the most. And you can do that at Fans Perspective homepage at starsandcelebs.com. Don't forget to visit Stars and Celebs and Chud.com. And Tara, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing, everything that you saw at Comic-Con.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we'll see you back with us again soon. And thank you, listeners, for taking a listen. And I'll see you next time on the Fans Perspective.